The elections is a democratic process system where citizens age 18 and over elect their candidate to represent them and their interests locally, nationally, and internationally. The process is determined by a voting system where citizens vote for one candidate. The candidate with the majority of votes is elected. In the last elections, the first place with more votes was Enrique Peña Nieto with 38%. In second place was Andrés Manuel López Obrador with 32%. In the third place, Josefina Vázquez Mota with 25%. And the fourth place was Cuadri with 2%.
Mexicanos, ¿quieren cambiar a México? ¿Podemos cambiar a México? Sí, fue la respuesta que dieron desde el fondo de sus corazones. Peña Nieto, the actual president of Mexico, earned the vast majority of his votes because of one thing. It is called Poder del Caudillo. This actually means that he gained his votes mainly because of his image, and because some people say that he's attractive or something like that. According to the INE, 57% of the people who voted for him voted because of his image or his aesthetical cause. This is an equivocation fallacy, because according to the INE, they never did any research of this theme of Peña Nieto and the cause of his voters, according to the official page.
Since Peña Nieto has become president, the price of the peso has devaluated a lot. According to the National Bank of Mexico, up today, $1 equals 18.81 pesos, almost 19 pesos. 6 years back, this was different. In 2012, the dollar was 13 pesos. But how does this affect us and how it affects the elections? It affects us directly in inflation because products instantly become more pricey. For example, in 2012, the inflation was 30.57%, so a liter of gasoline would cost around 10.38 pesos, and today it is 18.91 pesos, with the rate of inflation of 6.76%. The situation affects the elections mainly because people are capable of voting to the candidate that offers the basic products for the family at a lower price. Also, people want the products to be accessible to them. They want to help the economy for their family. They are capable of voting a candidate that promised that. And I can relate this situation with the rise in medical treatments in Mexico. We know that being ill in this country is very expensive, and the treatments are no exception.
Mexico is one of the most corrupt countries in America. Our environment is full of people making trades by his own convenience, affecting the national economy and the country's image. It is demonstrated by the Infobae en base de datos del Índice de Percepción de la Corrupción 2016 de Transparencia Internacional that Mexico is in the middle of the graph of corruption and is near to reach the bottom. We have read statistics. We are near to worse our situation and be like Venezuela, that has the worst index of corruption in America. We need to change our situation and follow the Uruguay's example. In few words, they are in the top of the less corruption in America thanks to his ex-president that take part into fight against corruption. With economic growth and equality, the results are captured. We need someone like Mujica to solve this problem. A viable solution would be to hire as an economic advisor and take part in our government to eradicate this problem. We need to take action quickly.
And to get to know a little bit more about this, I am going to talk about numbers. According to the INE in 2006, 41.7 million of people here in Mexico vote. According to INE in 2012, 50.3 million people vote. The real question here is, if we are 120 million people as population here in Mexico, what happened with the rest of the other ones? What happened with their votes? Are they abstaining? Are the votes are nullifying? That's what I'm going to talk about here. To sustain my argument, I'm going to talk about the real argument from Roberto Duque. Roberto Duque was or is a professor in the UNAM of Derecho Electoral. He mentions and shows in his presentation, which was a video, that we're going to give an example. We can say that the candidate, the independents, had 9% of the votes. We can say that there are 38% of votos nulos, and the rest are other part of the votes. The other 50% is the PRI, PAN, PRD, and the other political parties. You know what's really happening? Those votes, voto nulo, independent candidates, are not really counted. You know what they do? They use the total percent of the political parties and they give them 100. That's why, and that's how they get more votes. So the real question is, do you think that abstaining or nullifying your vote is the best decision you can make? No. Here I'm giving you your proof. This is not what we want for our Mexico. And as the doctor or the person who was talking, who was Roberto Duque, said, we can't give this to our political parties. We need to be better. We need to improve. So I exhort you, I ask you, vote who you think is correct to vote. No matter who, the person you think it is the right one, you should vote for that person.
Let's not go that far. If we make an analysis about Colombia's situation, we can see that there are a bunch of different votos nulos or nullifying votes in which a lot of people said that it doesn't matter. But the real fact here is that the actual president, is working for changing the situation. And he makes also the comparison with Brazil. Brazil has a really big percentage of people who don't vote or who have the voto nulo. And what do? They implemented the voto electrónico. Voto electrónico is a strategy where people can vote online. And in this situation, they said that the past elections, more than the 21% of the votes increase thanks of the applying the voto electrónico. That's why I consider that Mexico should apply this so we can evit the voto nulo and we can reform our Mexican society and our Mexican politics.
Les pido a todos que alcemos fuerte la voz, que todo México se sume, llevemos a México al lugar de la potencia mundial que le corresponde. Les propongo caminar juntos, sumando juntos hasta ganar. Vamos a ganar. Que viva el PRI, que viva México.
Meade reaches the highest public office in the country with experience in various secretaries. He worked for both PRI and PAN governments. He has been Secretary of Treasury, of Energy, of Social Development. But the thing here is that people don't believe in the campaign, in the PRI, because of their past presidents. For example, Carlos Salinas de Gortari, when he was president, the Mexican currency devalued, and also the actual president, that is Enrique Peña Nieto, because of its reforms. But what really distinguishes Meade from the other candidates that are also prepared is their experience at the national level, while the other candidates like AMLO and Anaya has experience in the state and the local level. So Meade has the ability and more experience to lead the whole country.
Hoy empieza una nueva historia. Te invito a que juntos lo hagamos posible. Vamos a hacer una campaña distinta, divertida, inteligente de cara a los ciudadanos. Vamos a ganar.
Most of the people think that Ricardo Anaya is too young to get into the presidency of Mexico. But that's not true, because the ability to lead a whole country doesn't depend on the age or your past. It really matters the capacity to take the country into good conditions. For example, the Austrian president Sebastian Kurz, that he get into the presidency in his country with only 31 years old. He get that position because of his proposals, and he treats about migration and Muslims. So that is not a justification why Anaya couldn't be our president. So our intention is to let you know a little bit more and investigate about Ricardo Anaya, because he could be the one who take us into a better conditions.
Los de la mafia del poder no quieren dejar de robar, no tienen llenadera. Por eso andan asustando diciendo que somos populistas o nos queremos comparar con Maduro o con Trump. Mándalos por un tubo.
Andrés Manuel López Obrador is a 2018 candidate, and many people compare him to Nicolás Maduro. Why? Because they have similar proposals. But what the people don't know is that Andrés Manuel López Obrador is really prepared, because 18 years he has been in the politics, and many people are trying to do a hominem fallacies because they want to attack his image and his candidacy. Also, another examples of Andrés Manuel López Obrador and Nicolás Maduro are that they are the same age or similar age. They are both left parties and with very similar proposals. Also, Andrés Manuel López Obrador has been fighting for the presidency since many years ago, and he's very frustrated. That's why they compare them both.
Impuso en el PAN condiciones antidemocráticas que tanto criticábamos del PRI y otros partidos. En este partido aprendí que un político gana lo que su palabra le dé. Mi palabra fue luchar por México y la voy a cumplir. Por esas razones, me voy del partido Acción Nacional y me voy sin rencor. It has been said that Zavala owns millions of pesos that have been rising in the recent years, since Calderón left the presidency. Now, the Tree of Three has been published indicating how she obtains her income. The roles are teaching at Instituto Asunción de Mexico, being an active member of Dignification of Politics, and finally, the representative of UCAN Mexico. For Calderón, he has been the active member of the board of directors. Also, he has published a book, and he is a member of the World Resources Institute. And with all that, has shared all with his wife.